Let's understand open economy and closed economy. Closed economy is that economy when one country is doing its every business, its every kind of product producing by itself and doing business in the between the territory of one nation, that called closed economy. So no economy transact with the outside world in closed economy. In reality, no economy can be completely closed economy. Yes, so a closed economy is an ideal position which can never be happen, means one economy can never be closed economy. Okay, India was a closed economy till 1991, but after that they have to become open economy. So economy transaction with the outside world will be no, absolute zero, then that would be closed economy. And open economy is when one nation is freely engaged with outside of the world for transaction, few goods, services and whatever. That is open economy. But in reality there is no some nation, but in reality there are some form of restriction, but restrictions are low. Means ki open economy is also that economy when there are some restrictions, but that restrictions are little bit low. Means a little bit low, or you can say ki the restrictions will be no, minutely no. Okay, barriers to trade. Now we knew what is open trade, what is open economy, what is closed economy. Closed economy means when a country is dealing with every business in its own territory, that is closed economy. And what is open economy? Open economy is when a country has reduces the restriction and they are trading with the other country. Now for these trading system there might be some barriers which can occur in the trade system and which can affect the trade. So policy instruction used by the government to obstruct the free flow of trade. Means what is barriers to trade? Barriers to trade is policy instruction used by the government to obstruct the free flow of trade. That is two types: tariff barrier and non-tariff barrier. What is tariff barrier and non-tariff barrier? Then tariff barrier is international trade. Tariff means international trade. Tariff barrier on international trade: a tax or duty by the government on the import and exports. The duty which is imposed by the nation on export or import, that is tariff barrier. What is tariff barrier is also two types: import duty and export duty. Import duty means it is a duty imposed by the government on the imported item, and export duty is it is imposed by the government on the exported item. And import item makes imported items costlier, hence less competitive in our domestic market, and it may discourage imports. Okay, so imports, when government will pose tariff duty on the import items, then it will discourage the import, because things get costlier and it will discourage the imports. Motive of the government: what is the motive of the government behind the import? So motive of the government is to protect or to promote the domestic products or manufacturers from global competition. Okay, to contain the widening trade deficit. Okay, in order to restrict excessive outflow of foreign exchange. Example, heavy import duty on luxury items. Means ki government will try to promote domestic products, or government will try to protect the domestic products from global competition. And it contain also trade deficit. Okay, in order to restrict excessive outflow of foreign exchange. In a source of government revenue, it is a source of government revenue. Okay, export duty. What is export duty? Export duty is, okay, import duty was that duty where is imposed by the government on every import item. So it can what is its impact? it makes costlier the import items, and it also discourages the competition. Government do it for promoting or protecting domestic products in from the from the global competition. And also it contains widening trade deficit in order to restrict excessively outflow of foreign exchange, heavy import duty on luxury items. So it makes what? It makes widening trade deficit, and after it is also source of government revenue. Next is export duty. What is export duty? Duty imposed by the government on exported items. That is export duty. It makes exportable items costlier, hence less competitiveness in the global market. It also discourages the export. Now, what is the intention behind export duty of the government? It is to ensure domestic availability of the product. For the domestic availability of the product, government does this. Okay. And also it is source of government revenue. So both are source of government revenue. In both spaces, government is trying to promote domestic product. Why so? Because if we will take unlimited things from outside, or we will export our things, we will starve. Okay. And if we'll import our thing, then our revenue will be gone. Okay, because it discourages our revenue also. That's why. This was about the tariff barrier. Let's understand what is non-tariff barrier. So non-tariff barrier is, the first non-tariff barrier is quota barrier. What is quota barrier? A restriction on the quantity or volume of a good that can be imported or exported during specific time period. Means what? It is based on some kind of specific quantity or volume which any person is trying to export or import, that specific and for a specific time period. Over that, this quota barrier will be there. Okay, means restriction on quantity or volume of a good that can be imported or exported during a specific time period. Okay, like pulses. अब सपोज 10 मीट्रिक टन है एंड एस आर 8 मीट्रिक टन. ओके, सो अब डोमेस्टिक में देर आर 10 मीट्रिक टन एंड वी आर सेंडिंग 8 मीट्रिक टन, देन हाउ मच वी आर गेटिंग 2 मीट्रिक टन्स, even minus 2 metric tons we are giving na. अब अगर we have done trade of 10 metric ton pulses and we had 8 metric ton, then we are in loss. And sugar products like Brazil to India, हमारे पास 8 है and हमने 10 मंगा लिया. Now we have 2 metric tons excess which is none of the use. That's why we will put the quota barrier or quota non-tariff barrier on that 2 metric ton. Okay. Next is subsidies. What is subsidies? Price support given by the government to producers and manufacturers of the exportable items. What does it mean? Price support. Okay, it is price support given by the government to the producer or the manufacturers of exportable items. Okay, on exportable items, if manufacturer or producers are gaining some money, some price, some extra money, that is subsidy. Like cheaper raw materials, low interest loans, cheaper power, etc. It reduces the cost of the production. What it reduces? It reduces the cost of the production. Okay, the production can be priced competitively in the global market, hence it may boost import. This means if government will give subsidy, then then lower production rate would be there. If there is cheap production rate, then there will be, like if government is providing cheaper raw materials, low interest rate, cheaper power, etc., then it will reduce the cost of production, right? If it will reduce cost of production, then this product can be priced competitively in the global market. Then it will increase or it will boost import. But subsidies are considered as trade distortion in nature, as they create non-level playing field. Why? Because subsidies are not never gonna back, and if government is giving subsidies, then cost of production is also low. Then the seller will sell all his product on lower rate. Then government will get very less. Health, sanity, and safety regulation. SPS measures of F2O or WTO. So WTO have arose SPS measure. SPS is what? SPS is sanitary and phytosanitary measures. So sanitary and phytosanitary measures are provided by WTO to check health, sanity, and safety regulation. If there is any barrier on health, safety, and security and safety regulations, then sanity and safety, then non-tariff barrier will be imposed. And domestic content requirement. What is domestic content requirement? The government can make it mandatory that a certain percentage of the parts to be used in a product have to be manufactured domestically. Means ki WTO have also said that ki certain percentage of production will be always used from that domestic country, so that it can prevent self produced products also, like Make in India product also, such that policy of free trade versus policy of protection. Okay, so now we saw what is non-tariff barriers. In non-tariff barriers we saw all of these. Now we are forwarding towards policy of trade and policy of versus policy of production. So policy of free trade is what? Policy of unrestricted international trade. It means there would be minimum barrier to trade. This means minimum government restriction. This means ki lease fair means leave alone. This is government should not intervene in the trade. So there is laissez-faire. Okay, LIASSEFAIRE French term है. This means कि leave alone. This means policy of free trade means कि minimum barrier towards the government and minimum trade barrier also. This means कि government should leave us alone. This promotes globalization versus policy of protection is just opposite of this. More interfere of government. Okay, a policy of creating trade barriers in order to protect vital national economic interests, such as protecting the domestic industries from global competition, protecting the domestic jobs, protecting the natural resources, policy of creating trade barriers in order to protect the vital national economic interest. Okay, such as what? Protecting the domestic industries, and as well as global competition, as well as domestic jobs, and as well as natural resources. Argument in favor of policy of free trade. Okay, so what we can say in favor of free trade? From favor of free trade, we gain from specialization. What does it mean? Specialization means what? International diversion of labor. Okay, gain from specialization is means कि when we will come on free trade agreement, then we will gain from specialization. Okay, specialization means international diversion of labor. Okay, theory of comparative advantage given by David Ricardo. So David Ricardo has given this theory that gains of specialization we will get from the free trade. Okay, जैसे Russia to wheat, Indonesia to rice, and society diversion of labors. So okay, means कि when we are adopting the free trade, we will have a lot of choices. Then we can specialize our choice on the basis of our requirement. Then we can gain of the specialization, isn't it? Yes, and the product which will be comparatively more good, they will survive in the competition. Gain from economic scale. What is this economic scale? This means कि cost are two types. Look, cost are two types. One is variable cost and one is fixed cost. Okay, so we will gain from the economy of scale. Next is promotes competition. Policy of free trade. There would be minimum barrier to trade good across the global would be free to domestic market. Policy of free trade. This means ki policy of free trade means good from all across the global would be free to enter in the domestic market. It will intense competitive in the competition in the domestic market also. It will promote to innovation and it will improve efficiency. Why it will improve efficiency and promote to innovation? Because if we are getting a lot of products, then public will choose only that product which would be higher quality, which would contain higher quality and higher perfection also, like, and these things are beneficial for the consumption. Beneficial for consumer means best quality product we will get and best possible prices we will get. Okay, a very wide variety of choices. We will also get very wide variety of choices because in the global market we will get global products, and then we have we have choice a lot of things, isn't it? Yes. Improve the quality of life of citizen. It will improve the quality of citizens life. And faster development in technology. Policy of free trade leads to innovation. This means ki diffusion of technology. Diffusion of technology means what? Successive development in technology. Okay, faster development of technology, it will lead to policy of free trade leads, and after that to innovation. Diffusion of technology, successive development in technology. Okay, next fifth is access to domestically unavailable goods and raw materials. Correct? Yes. Top 5 import and export are of India are India's crude oil. We export petroleum products, then pulse and precious, semi-precious stone also. Then we give pulses, precious and semi-precious stones. We take or we import raw material, we export processed material. Okay. Argument in favor of protectionism. It will help infant industry argument. It will also help employment argument. It will also help import substitution, means replacing the import by domestically manufactured goods. Replacing the import by domestically manufactured goods. Import substitution industry. This means what? It will create jobs and manufacture who are dependent on the raw material, fix different to source them. Production of jobs. Other nation may also relatively against our exports, and export may fall, so jobs will fall. This means on the place of import,